Good morning, all. I am Sneha Karbande, Assistant Professor, PRMITR Badnera. Welcome you all to the AICT IST approved 1 week online short term training program on research and publication ethics in association with Research Promotion Cell PRMITR Badnera Amravati and Computer Society of India Amravati chapter, organized by Department of Computer Science and Engineering PRMITR Badnera. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce our today's speaker, Dr. P.M. Javandia sir, Principal, Pankaj Ladad Institute of Technology and Management Studies, Buldhana, Maharashtra. His session is on database and research metrics, indexing database, citation database, web of science, Scopus, etc. Dr. Pradeep Jayandia sir has been working as a principal in Pankaj Ladad Institute of Technology and Management Studies, Buldhana. He has been involved in academics and administration for the last 25 years. He has completed his diploma in electronics and telecommunication in 1990, Bachelor of Engineering, Computer Engineering in 1993 from Sant Gadge Baba Amravati University, Amravati. Master of Engineering, Computer Science and Engineering in 2001 from Sant Gadge Baba Amravati University, Amravati. MBA Human Resource Development in 2011 from Yashwantrao Chavan, Maharashtra, Open University, Nashik, and PhD Computer Science and Engineering in 2012 from Sant Gadge Baba Amravati University, Amravati. He is the chairman of Computer Society of India, Amravati chapter, Amravati, member of Indian Society for Technical Education, fellow of IET, fellow of IEI, and several other organizations. He was invited speaker and delivered talk on ICT for rural development during 54th annual technical convention of IIT held on 24th and 25th September 2011 at Ahmedabad, and many more talks. He has involved in various academic and research activity. He has attended and served as a reviewer for several and national international seminars, conferences, and presented numerous research paper and also published research article in national and international journals. He is a member of Curriculum Development Committee of various universities and autonomous colleges, and his area of research specialization is computer network, network security, mobile ad hoc network, and security. He is a recognized supervisor, PhD guide for computer science and engineering, as well as for information technology in Sant Gadge Baba Amravati University, Amravati. 5 PhD research scholars completed PhD under his guidance. Currently, he is a member of Board of Studies, Computer Science and Engineering, Sant Gadge Baba Amravati University, Amravati. So, I request Dr. P.M. Javandia sir to proceed with his session. Thank you, sir.
ऑडियो में काहीतरी प्रॉब्लेम आहे
इकडून आहे
ऑडियो नाही कनेक्टेड.
Hello, sir. Sir, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Hey, you are audible. And
I'm audible.
yeah.
Shall I start, sir?
Yes, sir. Please.
Thank you. Very good morning to one and all present. First of all, I thank the organizer who has taken the initiative for such a wonderful topic, which is a need of an hour. So first of all, I congratulate Professor Ram Mege, Institute of Technology and Research, Badnera, Amravati, and Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Head of the Department, Dr. G.R. Bombade sir, and his team, in particularly the principal, Dr. Borke sir, and all other faculties of ERMIT or Badnera. First of all, I'm happy. Why I'm saying I'm happy? This is the first session which I'm conducting for my own institute to which I belong. I did my graduation, post-graduation, even the PhD from the similar institute, and I'm in a fortunate. I have got an opportunity to have a session, and that to a topic like research and publication ethics. So somewhere, what is the contribution? A total journey. I am passed out of the similar institute in 1994, and almost now 25 years has been completed. And today I have got an opportunity to share my views on this particular topic. So I once again thanks everyone giving me an opportunity to speak something on this issue. While speaking on this particular topic, a specific topic which is given to me is the databases and research matrices, and under that the topic is that indexing the databases and citation databases. Now, while going through this topic, as I have already attended last 4 days, and there are some my gurus and some of other faculties, those who have delivered the session on different aspect, almost the different aspect which is required as far as research and ethics, and lot is being talked about it. But now today's topic is somewhat slightly different. Why I'm saying it slightly different? Because it talks about the database and research matrices. Now the question arises why there should be a topic like database and research matrix. And again, that as it has been divided into two parts for today's session, first session that I'm going to conduct, and the second session, one of my senior colleague, Professor Thakur sir, who is also going to get connected. And somewhat it may be possible that some topics may get overlapped and some topics may be going on separately. Coming to the topic, the first thing is that why there is a need of such topic. So definitely, I will put my opinion on this particular topic. What happens over a period of time as the people are doing the research, they are publishing their papers, they are making the patents, they are creating copyrights and everything. But somewhere it is observed that the quality consciousness is must. And when it comes to the database and research matrix, it talks about the quality. Now here I will put some analogy with the we people are very much familiar nowadays with the NBA, NAC, NIRF. So again, if we talk about all these things, these all belongs to the quality of institution. Now, as we know that NBA, National Board of Accreditation, which is being defined for engineering colleges, they used to decide the quality of engineering college. As the case may be, NAC, which is again open for all arts, commerce, science, and all other, even engineering. So general colleges is also coming under head. So they are also going to talk about the quality. So they do have certain criteria on which the quality is going to get evaluated. Similar as NIS, that is National Institute Ranking Member. Recently, I am being alumni of the institution. Recently, the rank declared also the IIT Patna, and they are existing in NIRF. So the question is that the and as we know that the institutions are being defined with the quality, same is the case which is going to get applied when it is publishing of papers, journals, there exists a so quality, again the quality has to be checked, and the whatever publication they are preparing, it has to be published in the quality journals. Now the moment when we talk about the quality, the aspect comes under, if we have to evaluate quality, that will require some measurement. The moment when we talk, as I mentioned, that NBA, NAC, or you say NRF, so they talk about the quality, so they have defined certain measurements, and they are going to measure the institution on the basis of certain parameters on which the institutions are getting evaluated, and that defines finally the quality. Same is the case when it comes to the publication of journals or articles in any research journals. When we are publishing a paper in any research journals, so the quality is to be decided. And when we talk about the quality, again, the quality is going to get measured in terms of certain parameters. And here also the parameters which is being defined for evaluating the quality is, for example, we used to say that impact factor of a journal. That is one of the parameter which is being used as a quality to define for the journals. So this is what somewhere it exists, but we have to see that where it has been initiated, because it is a journey total. When it comes to the publication of paper, it is not new, it is getting published, and it has a complete journey. We can define the research matrix in terms of what was in the past, what is in the present, and what could be in the future. So there is three ways by which we can differentiate it. That could be the possibility of, we can say that how in the previous history the journals were there, how they are going to get evaluated, what is current scenario, what are the journals, how they are going to get evaluated, what are the parameters on which the evaluation of the journals is going to take place, and what could be the future. If this is going to be continued, what could be the future? So we can say that research matrix could be defined in terms of past, present, and future. We have to see how eventually it has taken place into the history as well as current scenario and the future. Now, just a background, I had to talk about this. Now I will come to the topic because the background is essential why we are going to talk about on database and research matrix, and in particular the indexing of databases and citation of the databases. I hope that I am audible. Yes.
Yes, sir.
The slide is visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So coming to the topic, research and publication ethics as it is being defined, and as I have said that today's topic for my first part will be database and research matrix, and that to indexing databases and citation databases. In the second part, as I mentioned, that it will be continued with a similar topic. Only the thing is that the research matrices. So in particular, what are the matrices which is being used to evaluate these databases? So that is going to be discussed by Dr. N.V. Thakur sir. So coming to the first part, what I am going to cover. So here I have mentioned that outcome, what will be the finally outcome of the session when we complete the session, what will be the outcome of the session. So this section is covering the purpose of indexing and citation databases and contrast the functionality these with popular search engines such as Google or Google Scholar. The process of selecting the most useful database is explored. So here what I mean to say, the section is covering the purpose of indexing and citation database and contrast the functionality of these with the popular search engines such as Google and Google Scholar. The process of selecting the most useful database is explored. Now, normally, when being a fresh researcher, if we talk about normally, if I want to search any paper, what we used to do is that very easy method is that just having a Google search engine, opening a Google, putting some topic keywords, and then searching into the Google search engine. So that will provide us the details about that particular topic. So that is what the normal method which we are going to use. But it is not going to provide us the exact result which we are expecting. For example, if I used to search a particular topic and particular keyword if I'm searching, so if I'm interested in a particular topic or particular paper, when it comes to the Google or Google Scholar, that is not going to provide me the exact topic which I am expecting. So why it is not able to provide it, that we have to see. So the process of selecting the most useful database is explored. Now, and for that purpose, the databases are being defined. The purpose which is not going to be solved with the help of Google or Google Scholar is going to be solved with the help of databases. So that is what the first part that is expected, and it is going to be achieved with the help of indexing and citation database. The second thing which I have mentioned over here, this section is covered in a frequently asked question format, reflecting the type of question most commonly asked about indexing and databases. Now, rather than defining the index or contents of the section, what I have defined, the index and content itself is being defined, but it is being defined in a different format, and the format which I use is the frequently asked question. Because if you talk about either research or ethics, most of the new researchers are having several questions in their mind. So I had given a thought, rather than defining the index and contents, it is better to define the questions. Even when I did the research, I had gone through these questions. So rather than defining the index and of the total session, I have defined the same thing in the form of questions, and I'm trying to answer those questions. So most of the queries which will be there at the end of session is going to be solved while going through the session. So that is why aspect behind it. Session is covered in a frequently asked question format, reflecting the type of questions most commonly asked about indexing and databases. Now, more important is that by the end of this session, we will be able to, what we are going to achieve. So understand the purpose of indexing the database, why the database are supposed to be indexed, that purpose we have to understand. Second thing is that understand the purpose of citation of the databases, that we have to cover, why the databases are being defined in terms of citations, and at last, how to select a citation database appropriate for your searching needs. So this is what we are going to cover at the end of this session. So that is what we can say, that normally outcome of the session. So these are the outcomes: understanding the purpose of indexing databases, understand the purpose of citation databases, select a citation database appropriate for your searching needs. Now, but before going into the details of this, I would like to go through some history as far as what we can say that the journals, the publications which is available, and now if this slide is visible,
Sorry, sir, it is not visible.
it is not visible.
Yes, sir, it is not visible. You can share it again.
Yes, yes, I'm sharing.
Sir, sir, now it is visible.
Now the similar PPT slide may be there. I'm trying some different slide. Just a minute.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, just. Now it is shared.
Yes, sir.
Yes. New slide, that is research assessment matrix, past, present, and future.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes. So I will a little bit talk about this, and then again we will continue with the similar things what was being defined. But this is required over here. That I am covering this particular aspect. So here we can see that research assessment matrix, past, present, and future. So exactly when it has been started, that we can see that here somewhere in 1955, this is big talk about the research, journals, publications, and everything. So in the year 1955, Garfield begins citation indexing. So indexing has been started in the year 1955. And what we are going to see over here, this is the starting point that we can say that we are now in 2020. So it's almost we can say that 65 years is there. The indexing is existing for the journals, but how it has been developed, that is what we have to see. And what we can observe that over a period of time, if we could see that 1955 to 1982, and not a lot much is being developed. If you could see that 1955, then there is a 1964, the SCI has come into existence, Science Citation Index. 1967, there is a ISBN developed. Then in 1975, General Citation Reports begins. But here we can see that at the same times, what we could observe that evolving of internet is there. And here we could observe that in 1960, the ARPANET was there. Those who are familiar with the computer science and IT, they may be exactly knowing that 1960, the ARPANET has come into existence. And then in 1982, we could see that TCP/IP Internet Protocol developed. So we could observe that 1955 to 1990, till 90, almost we can say that 35 years, it is not being developed as that much which is required when it comes to the indexing of a journals. But over a period of time, due to the involvement of internet, it has been evolved like anything, and that we could observe over here. So this is about the past, and after 1990 or 89, that we can see that how it has been explored. So this is what the more important thing, while indexing, research, parameters, measures, quality, everything is being talked about. It is just because of the things come into online and it is very easily available due to internet, and it has been evolved like anything which we could observe from this slide. So here we can see that 1989 Berners-Lee introduces the World Wide Web, and this is what the beginning. The moment World Wide Web is there, journals became online. So that is the story behind it. Here we can see that in 1991, 1994, there is a social science research network. Then there is some of other, there is Google search launch in 1997. Here we can see that the 1997 Science Direct came into existence. 1996 PubMed, this is a journal which is being defined, the index database which is being defined for the medical science. Again here PubMed modified. Then here we could see that in 2000 DOI introduced, that is a digital object identifier for the publications which we are going to submit. It is being identified with the help of digital object identifier in the year 2000. Then here we could see that in 2000 cross-reference begins. So cross-reference is also now being used for indexing or referring the journals. Then in 2002 we could see that the web of knowledge. So as of today we are existing in 2020, and in 2002 web of knowledge which is being defined, and now it is being known as a web of science. So later it has been terminology is being changed, and now it is being defined as a web of science. So in 2002 to 2020, so it is a story of 18 years. A web of science has explored like anything. Then here we could see that in 2004, the Google Scholar is there. In 2005, YouTube has come into the picture. In 2005, here we could observe that the measurement parameters which is being defined for a journal or research paper is H-index. Then here we could see that in 2006, there is a slide share. 2008, here we could see that the annual data production estimated. Now this data production is very important because this has been allowed to go the journals online, and that much capacity is available to store the articles and papers onto the what we used to say that the servers. Here, if we could find out, this is what in 2010 SNIP, again one more parameter which is being used for measurement of journals. 2011 the Google Plus. 2012 here we could see that the ORCID, that is again one more ID is being introduced, and this nowadays this is ID is being given to the researcher or publisher who is going to publish an article. So this is what a total story, if you could see that. Here evolution of internet is being shown. Then in 1989, here we could see that 1993 the Mosaic Netscape launch. Then 1996 digital storage becomes cheaper than paper. Then in 1999 broadband internet access images. 2006 Amazon launched cloud computing. Now this is the real story where the journals goes onto the network, and it is in the form of cloud. The moment the cloud is available, so we can imagine how much data that could be stored onto the cloud, and that is the real story for journals getting online. So here again we can see that the gigabit broadband in 2015, and again if you could see that 2016, here there is a Plum Analytics added clinical citation. Then again 2016 Sitescore launch. Here we could see that 2017. Now, how many articles are being digitally, as I have mentioned, that digital object identifier. So here we can see that the 88 million articles are being indexed with the help of digital object. So that is what the story. If you could see that in 1955 it has been started, the indexing, but it has become more popular from 1990. And moreover, after 1990 also, it takes around 5 to 10 years. More popular it has become from year 2000, and we could see that the story which is available of last 20 years. So even when we were the student, at that time these things were not available. Internet was not available. It is very difficult to go for the research to get the things, articles. We have to go to different places, different prominent institutes, again in the form of manual copies we have to identify, and then we could able to do it. But now if the situation, if we could see that everything is available online, only the thing is that how you go for it and how you are able to find out. Now, as I have mentioned in the beginning that we are going to talk about the past and then the present. So here we can say that 1955 to 1990, we can say that it is a past. The present, which we could see that in 2000 to 2020, we could see that it is a present, and it is expect what will be the future. So here, future which is going to talk about is the social impact. So what should be the impact which is going to take place because of all this that is being talked about over here? The future is social impact. What will be the social impact of all these things? What will be the clinical impact? What will be the policy impact? And what will these are the three impact which is going to be there because of the publication which is going to take place. Now, when it comes to the social impact, the life is going to change, as we are going to see that the lot of development which is going to take place nowadays. This we are going to talk about the smart things, smart city. So that will be the social impact which is going to take place. When it comes to the clinical impact, that relates with the medical science, so that is also going to change. When it comes to the policy impact, so as the internet is getting evolved, and when it is available to the common man, and if it is going to reach to the root level, then the policy is also going to be changed. So this is what how the research is being supporting to all these three aspects, that is social impact, clinical impact, and policy impact. Now, why I have taken this particular thing, because we people are supposed to know how it has been done. If it is being known to us, then it is easy to go for the future research and what exactly expected. That is more important, because if a new researcher who is going to think about the research, then they have to focus on these aspects, that if I'm doing some research, what will be the social impact of my research? If some medicinal people are doing research, then what will be the impact of my research into the clinical impact? Then if some other fields people, those who are doing the research, that it could be utilized for the policy making, so what will be the impact of policy? So these are the things which are I am expecting that has to be covered. So here we could see that slightly I will talk about the policy impact. That is more important. Here we could see that there are increasing demands on research to demonstrate public engagement with the research and its impact on government policy and cultural life. What are some of the potential ways to measure the policy impact and effect of these research objects created not just by academic institutions but non-profit organizations, governments, and think tanks? Across global organizations, there are a number of common policy areas to which can map research object. So these are the areas in which it is expected as far as the policy impact is concerned. So here we can see that agriculture, farming, domestic, global health, education, global affairs, security, international development, science and technology, arts and culture, economic and fiscal, energy and environment, governance, politics, justice system and law, social and urban. So these are the areas, or these are the common policy areas where it is going to touch if the research is going to get evolved. Here there it talks about the clinical impact. So I'm not going to speak on the clinical impact, because as we know that it is related to the medical science, it will be more useful for them. But again, it is very important when it comes to the research it is going to take place. We can see that the clinical facilities which is available right now is going to get improved, and slowly we are observing the things. Nowadays the things are changing when it comes to the clinical impact is also there. When it comes to the social impact, that is also getting observed nowadays, because if we could see that a lot is being changed when it comes to the social impact. So this is for the background which I would like to cover. Now again we will go to the similar topic, coming to the main topic. So that is what I said. Now, as I mentioned in the beginning, that I am going to cover this particular session in the form of frequently asked questions. So as I hope that the screen is visible now. Is it visible? The main
Yes, sir.
PPT?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Yeah. So the main topics which we are going to cover in the form of frequently asked question, that is what is indexing, why is indexing essential, what is indexing in research paper, what is abstracting, what is citation database, why use a citation database, why not use a Google or Google Scholar, which database should I use, should I use one or more database for my research, what is citation, what are the classification of existing citation databases, how do I verify that my target journal is indexed in ISI, Scopus or Web of Science, or how do I find the index of a journal, and the last is how to choose journals for submitting a paper. So these are the frequently asked questions that normally comes in everybody's mind. So these are the questions if we could answer, I hope that whatever outcome that we have decided, that will be going to achieve with the help of this answering these questions. So coming to the first, what is indexing? So the prestige of any journal is considered by how many abstracting and indexing service cover that journal. It has been observed in last few years that authors have started searching for index journals to publish their articles. Probably this is happening because it has become a mandatory requirement for further promotion of teaching faculty in institution. In particularly, I have mentioned the last sentence, but coming to the main, what is indexing? So as it is being mentioned, the prestige of any journal is considered by how many abstracting and indexing services cover that journal. So for example, if I'm going to launch some journals, so the very first requirement will be there that I should get attached to the abstracting and indexing services.
Excuse me,
The
sir.
moment when I am going to get attached to the abstracting and
Excuse
indexing
me, sir.
services, the popularity of that journal is going to get improved. And that the prestige is going to be decided on the basis of the indexing services and abstracting services.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Sir, your PDF is still being shared. I think you are you have to change it to PPT.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, sir. Now your PPTs are visible.
Yes. Yes. Now it is visible. Hello. Is it visible?
Yes, sir. The PPT of what is indexing.
Yes. 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 So I'm talking about. First, I will again once more cover because I hope that this might have been missed. As I mentioned, I'm going to cover this topic on the basis of frequently asked questions. So, what are the questions that came into my mind, and by answering these questions, whatever outcome that we have decided for today's session, that we are going to achieve. So, here the questions, if you could see, what is indexing? Why is indexing essential? What is indexing in research paper? What is abstracting? What is citation database? Why use a citation database? Why not use a Google or Google Scholar? Which database should I use? Should I use one or more databases for my search? What is citation? What are the classification of existing databases? And how do I verify my target journal is indexed in ISI, Scopus or Web of Science, or how do I find the index of journal? Then last question could be there, how to choose journals for submitting a paper. Now coming to the first question, as I mentioned, the prestige of any journal is considered by how many abstracting and indexing services cover that journal. So if you have a journal, the journal is going to get evaluated on the basis of abstracting and indexing services. Whether it is being a part of Web of Science, whether it is a part of Scopus. If it is a part of Scopus, it has a value. And the paper which is going to get nowadays very common question which is being asked by the researchers. If he is going to prepare a manuscript and which is to be submitted to a journal, the very first question normally being asked whether it is being indexed by Scopus or whether it is being indexed by Web of Science. Why this question is being asked? Because we know that if it is being indexed by Scopus or if it is being indexed by Web of Science, then it is a prestige journal. If it is a prestige journal, definitely my article is going into the proper journal that we are going to decide on the basis of it. So that is why the indexing is must. So it has been observed in the last few years that authors have started searching for index journals to publish their article. Now the next sentence which I had specifically quoted over here, as far as I hope that most of the audience may be a faculty. So probably this is happening because it has become a mandatory requirement for further promotion of teaching faculty in the institution. We know that if he doesn't do research, if he doesn't do the PhDs, we know that in the forthcoming years, there will be initial qualification which is going to get maybe for assistant professor itself is a PhD. So without research, there is no existence of the faculty. So that could be another reason that we are supposed to go for the research. Next is, however, the big question is, after all, what is an index journal? So that has to be answered. Is the journal considered index if it is documented in a local database, regional database, or in an continental database? Now, why this question is being there? However, the big question is, after all, so we have to answer this question, how we are going to decide which is the index journal. Now, is the journal considered index if it is documented in a local database, regional database, or in any continental database? Now, first of all, before going into the local database, regional database, or continental database, first I would like to put a small light on this database. The people, the faculty, those who are there from the background of computer science or IT, they may be knowing what is database, but exactly to other faculties, I would like to put a light on it, because these articles which we are nowadays is getting published, these are being defined in terms of database. Now we know that what exactly is the database. The database is nothing but a collection of record, and these records are again having different fields. Now, whatever article or whichever article that we are going to submit to a journal, it is going to get stored in the form of record into the database. And as I have mentioned, the database is consisting of record, and the records are consisting of fields. Now, why these are being stored, and what is the utility of storing these articles onto the database? Because these articles are going to be used by the future researchers, and how they are going to retrieve. So this database concept is being evolved due to the evolvement of internet. It is easy to access due to the evolvement of cloud, because it is easy to store such kind of huge database which could be stored onto the cloud. These are the things has supported to go these journals onto the online form. And once they reach is into the online form, then it is easy for information retrieval. So these are the aspects which is being expected when it comes to why. The question is that why these being it is being said that the data citation has to be into the database. Now that is the reason that it is easy for information retrieval. So suppose, for example, if I publish one paper, it is a part of Scopus, and it is available onto the Scopus indexing or any journal. But if in future some researcher who would like to refer the paper, so for him or her, it will be easy to access that paper from that journals by making or by referring the Scopus portal. Now, when it is going to get referred by the Scopus portal, it is easy, whatever the way the article is being saved. As I mentioned, that the database is consisting of record, and record is having the fields. Now, when it comes to the article, we know that it has abstract, it has keywords. Now, when it comes to the abstract and keywords, now these keywords normally being defined in terms of fields of that database, and the record could be a complete article. So these keywords are going to be used for information retrieval of a particular article is to be retrieved from that database. So these keywords are nothing but the field in terms of database, and the article is nothing but a complete record into that database. So retrieving the information from the database with the help of keyword and record will be easy, and that's why the journals considered index if it is documented in local database. Now then the question comes whether it is to be stored into the local database, regional database, or in any continental database. Now again, it depends. See, if I'm publishing my paper and if it is of international nature, then definitely it has to go to the continental database. If it is a local requirement, then it is not necessary to publish that paper at the international level. So it could be into the local database that we are going to see when we are going to see the different databases. So I'm going to elaborate this term at a time of elaborating the different databases. So we have to just keep in mind that could be a possibility of local database, regional database, or any continental database. Now, what is the history of indexing? What is actual indexing and what is non-indexing? So that again we have to see. Indexion of journal considered indexation of journal is considered a reflection of its quality. So any journal, if it is being indexed, so it defines its quality of journal. So index journals are considered to be higher scientific quality as compared to non-indexed journals. So that is what is indexing that we have seen. Now coming to the next point, why is indexing essential? Now indexing will help your journal achieve its main purpose of being accessible to a wide audience. Being accessible in turn will improve your journal's reputation as a reliable source of high quality information in your field. Now, why is indexing is essential that we can see. Indexing is going to help the journal to achieve its main purpose of being accessible. As I mentioned, any article when we are going to publish into the international journal, if it is a part of Scopus or Web of Science, so then it is going to get stored into the database. And if it is being stored into the database, it becomes easily accessible with the help of information retrieval. So that is what the purpose of indexing, why it is essential. So purpose of being accessible to wide audience is very easy. Being accessible in turn will improve your journal's reputation. And the moment when it is being accessed, any article which is going to be get accessed by any reputed journal, so the reputation of journal is also going to get improved as a reliable source of high quality information in your field. Now that's why people used to say that Web of Science or Scopus or nowadays the journals which we are talking about, if it is a part of Scopus, if it is a part of Web of Science, then it is being considered as high quality journals because it is being stored onto the databases. Now next point is that what is indexing in research paper? So citation index or indexing is an ordered list of cited articles, each accompanied by a list of citing articles. The citing article is identified as a source and the cited article as a reference. And abstracting and indexing service is a product a publisher sells or makes available. Now here we can see that it is an indexing or citation index is an ordered list of cited articles. So whatever articles or whichever articles that we are publishing, that is going to get submitted into the different databases. Now each accompanied by a list of citing articles. So when we are publishing any article, we know that we are going to, at the end of that article, we are going to put the references. Now, so again, the citing article is identified as a source and the cited article as a reference. So the article which we are used for preparation of our new article, they are being defined in terms of reference, and our own article is nothing but a citing article. So that is what, and abstracting and indexing service is a product. Finally, it is a product which is going to be defined with the help of abstracting and indexing service, and which is going to be used by the publishers to sell or makes available. Now, what is abstracting? We have seen this indexing. Now we have to see the abstracting. As I defined, it is a product of two terms, that is indexing and abstracting. So now we have to somewhat put light on abstracting. So as a tool for researcher or the scientist or the technologist, the social scientist, the abstracting service has the following uses to offer. So what abstracting offers, that we have to see. So it allows the users to newly publish work scattered in many journals and other sources that he is likely to miss without help. It helps in keeping up to date with new knowledge. It helps the researcher to save his time by grasping at the steadily rising tide of the publications. An informative abstract sometimes can serve as a substitute to the original document. An abstracting service might be called as an encyclopedic function. It aids in the writing of reviews, it enables one to make a retrospective search for literature in a field. It helps in improving indexing. Now, coming to in all, what exactly it offers? If a new researcher or any researcher, normally if you see any journals, when they used to give the instruction to the authors, they used to ask us to submit the abstract of the paper or article before submitting the paper. What exactly that abstract means? Because it is relevant over here for the abstracting services. The abstract which we are submitting, it is nothing but a complete summary of that paper. It is going to put a light of what is being included into the paper, and on the basis of abstract only, the reviewer or the editorial board of a journal is going to decide whether the paper is to be accepted or not. So that is what the first initial criteria, which is being used when a researcher is going to publish or submit its article to a specific index journal. So abstract is going to decide whether it is useful as far as the new research which is going to get accepted by the journals. So these are the services, these are the offerings which is there by the abstracting. So that is why it is important. So it is more important is that it is going to help in improving the indexing. Now, how it is going to help in improving the indexing? Because we know that to retrieve the information, we are going to make use of indexing, because we have saved the article or the paper in the form of databases, which is being nothing but a record, and what we the record consists of field. So the fields which we are using is nothing but the keywords. So ultimately we can see that when we are having an abstract is being defined with the help of keywords. So those keywords will become a part of indexing, or those keywords will be becoming a part of retrieval of information. So ultimately it is going to help the improving, or it is helping for improving of the indexing. So that's why it is being said that it is a combined product, indexing as well as abstracting. These two things are going to help for a researcher to retrieve a particular information from a database. Now, coming to the main next part, the first part which we are talking about the indexing, and the second part is the citation database. Now, citation database are a collection of reference papers. It could be articles or books and other material entered into an online system. In particularly, I am saying that online system, and in bracket it is mentioned database. Now, in a structured and consistent way. Why it is being said that it is in a structured and consistent way? Because the specific tables which is going to be created, and what is the information, the way information is to be stored, because it should become easy for retrieval of the information, and that's why it is being stored in the form of structured and consistent way. All the information related to a single document, all the information relating to a single document, what normally the document is consisting of article or paper, it consists of author, it consists of title, it consists of publication details, it consists of abstract, and perhaps it could have full text. So make up the record. So as I mentioned, the database is being defined in terms of record. So this record, this, if you could see that this record is nothing but a collection of these all fields: author, title, publication details, abstract, and perhaps the full text for that document. Now, each of these items of information becomes a separate field. Now, as I mentioned, each of these items means author, title, publication details, abstract. Now, these becomes field in that record and enables the document to be retrieved via any of these items or by keywords. So these items are nothing but retrieval information, or if the paper or article is being having some keywords, then it could be retrieved with the help of keywords. So that is what is citation database, why it is there. Now, why use a citation database? A citation database allows us to access published, peer-reviewed, highly quality material such as journals, articles, research reports, systematic reviews, conference proceedings, editorials, and related works. When a document is originally entered into a database, it is analyzed for its key subject and descriptors. Here, an example which I use as niche terms in Medline or PubMed. Now, this is an example of medical science, which is being known as medical survey history. There is a term, and these are the journals which is being used in medical science, that is Medline and PubMed, etc., are assigned to it. So here we could see that when a document is originally entered into a database, it is analyzed for its key subject. Now here the key subject is Medline or PubMed, and descriptor. So descriptor could be again in terms of that there could be some terms which is related to the medical science and that is to be used are assigned to it. These mesh terms allows precise searching as the databases search for these specific terms in hierarchical order. Now consider the same case as in our case when it comes to the engineering also, if you used to submit abstract along with the keywords. Now those keywords are nothing but parameter are the what we can say that the terms which is being used for precise searching of the database for a specific article. If it has to be retrieved from the database, then the keywords are the major information which is going to be used, or it is the major parameters which is going to be used for retrieval of a particular article from the database. So that is what a citation database allows us to access these things. Now searches can then be limited, for example, by author or title or fields or year of publication, and keywords can be focused and searched separately. Searches undertaken in citation database are therefore more precise and comprehensive than searches on general internet search engines, and the results are of consistently higher quality and reliability. Now, this second part is very important. See what is being mentioned, searches undertaken in citation databases are therefore more precise. So the search which we are making with the help of databases, it will be more precise. What happens when we write any keywords into the Google or any search engine, it provides the garbage. Then we have to put our head into that garbage and we have to retrieve the exact information which we are looking for. But when it comes to the database, if we put a particular keyword, we need not have to put our head and we are going to get the exact or precise article which we are expecting from the journals. So that is why it is being said that comprehensive than searches on general internet search engines, and the results are of consistently higher quality and reliability. So that higher quality and reliability is not available when it comes to any search engine, but it is possible with the help of the citation database. Now, why not use Google or Google Scholar? So the next point is again relevant to that only. Why not use Google or Google Scholar? So searching on Google or similar internet search engine will return at least a few sources on almost any topic. But finding high quality, reliable, and the most relevant sources is less likely. So it is providing a garbage keywords, because sometimes it could be, for example, if it is English word, if it is being kept into the Google search, so it is, if it is relevant to technology, if it is relevant to general word also, so it provides you the both kind of information. So that is again a headache for a person who is looking for a specific information. So Google is an internet search engine that returns and ranks result on the basis of popularity. Now again, this is more important. Google is an internet search engine that returns and ranks results on the basis of popularity, with no filters to remove bias or unreliable information. So most frequently used article which is there, so it the rank is going to get assigned the frequently used articles, and on the basis of ranking only it is going to provide you the result. So normally if we see when we put any keywords into the Google search engine, it provides n number of pages, page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, and if we go on seeing the page 1, page 2, page 3, somewhere in the page 10 it could be the exact information for which we are looking for. So that is the possibility which is going to be there. But the Google is going to take the decision on the basis of popularity. Popularity means what exactly? How many times a particular article is going to be seen by most of the people, and on the basis of that, most of the people, those who are going to see, the rank is going to be decided for that article, and that will be the first available into the first page. So that is what normally the working of Google search. So results written are from all internet material. There are many peer-reviewed scholarly articles that do not appear on open websites, so they cannot be searched by due to subscription requirement. Again, this is a drawback which is there, because if any article or any paper which is being submitted to the subscription journals, where the subscription is mandatory, which is not open in nature, and if it is not in open in nature, and if we are expecting that article should be retrieved, so that will be not available with the help of Google search. In that case, we have to go for the subscription, and then only into the databases, then only we could retrieve those kind of information or those kind of article. That is possible. So that's why again, why not use Google or Google Scholar? That is what, there are many peer-reviewed scholarly articles that do not appear on open website, so they cannot be searched by Google due to subscription requirement. By comparison, Google Scholar provides a simple way to broadly search for scholarly literature. It searches across many disciplines and variety of sources. It ranks a document by where it was published, who it was written by, as well as how often and how recently it has been cited in other scholarly literature. So that is why it is said that why not use a Google or Google Scholar, because it is not going to provide you the information or the article which you are expecting. Sometimes it may not be a part of open access. If it is not a part of open access, it will not be available with the help of Google search. Now coming to the next, which database should I use? Here, your topic of interest should be matched as far as possible with the type of subject information included on the database you choose. Next question is that if I am interested to retrieve particular information from the database, the question arises in front of me, which database should I use? Now, first of all, I have to see which type of information that I am expecting and in which genres or in which database it is going to be matched. First, match has to be identified, then only we can find out the required information. The type of subject information on several databases may be similar, but the emphasis in each will be tend to be different. Again, important point which is being noted over here, the type of subject information on several databases may be similar. It could be possible that the information which we are expecting on one database, again, it may be available on the second database or third database, but not necessarily the emphasis which is being given on a different databases for a particular information will be the same. For example, if it is considered a clinical science or clinical research, so the emphasis is going to change, or emphasis is going to differentiate it. Maybe some parameters which is expected, which is not available in one particular database article, which may be available in another database particular article. So that's why, even though it seems to be that whatever keywords or the matching which we are expecting, that has to be searched into the different databases. The moment when we are going to search the same thing on different databases, what we are going to identify is that the emphasis which is being put onto the different articles may be different. So that is why it is suggested, rather than accessing a single database, it is better to access the multiple database for the article which we are expecting, or for the information which we are interested to retrieve from the databases. Now here, I had mentioned over here 101 free online journals and research databases for academics. So just I would like to share this.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
It is not visible.
Yeah, just I'm sharing.
Okay.
Just make it confirm once it is being shared.
Yes, sir.
Just a minute. Is it visible? Hello?
Yes, sir. Now it is visible.
Yes, yes.
101
Free
database for
online
academic.
journals and resource databases for academics.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes. Now, this is what just one complete, rather we can say that a directory where we could search the online journals and research databases for academics. So this is what one article which I could find out, and it is very useful that at least it is directly providing us the 101 free online journals and research databases. So here we could see that the table of content for that, it is being mentioned the free access versus open access. So again, it is being defined in terms of two types: what is open access and what is free access. Now here we could see that the table of contents which is being categorized into different categories: business, economics, humanities, social sciences, mathematics and computer science, multidisciplinary, and science and medicine. Now here we could see that the list of these 101 databases is available. Here we could see that the EconBees, EconIDs, and so many are there. Uh, Here in this list, we can see even Scopus is there, Web of Science is there, everything is being included. And very important article, because if you could see that here, if you go on to a particular, what you can say, the database, and if you click, you are directly get secure to the particular database, and it will become easier for us, because otherwise it is very difficult. Even for me also, I was not aware of that there is a possibility that 101 directly available at one stroke, and we could go through this different databases by just clicking on a link, and different databases would be searched. So here we could see that here there is an example of CiteCRX. Then we could see that the computer science technical report, then again the DBLP computer science bibliography, math guide. Again here we could see that some other core CI, and these databases are including all streams, means it is a science, medical, arts, commerce, everything is there. Interdisciplinary, all 101. Here we could see that the Google Books, Google Correlate, Google Scholar, JSTOR, that is the general storage. Here we can see that the DOAG, Directory of Open Access Journals, Microsoft Academic Search, then ResearchGate is there, Scientific Electronic Library Online is there. So this is a complete list by which we can go through it, and we can just have a click on that particular database link, and we could find out that particular database is available online to search a particular article. So here we could see that Biomed Central, cancer data. So again, these are related to the medical sciences. Here we could see that Public Library of Science, again medical science, then the Science Opens, Scientech Connect. So these are 101. The complete list is there, and it will be easy to access the different databases to find out our article of interest from those databases. So this is what list that I would like to share, and just I'm again coming back to the normal regular PPT. So is it visible regular PPT? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Which database should I use?
So we have seen 101 free online journals and research databases for academics. So that is a direct one kind of resource which is available where by which we can make use of it and we can go through the different 101 databases. Otherwise, it is very difficult to remember all those 101 and to identify the things. The next question is that should I use one or more databases for my search? So each database is likely to provide slightly different results owing to a different journals and books it is searching across. So despite the potential for duplication, it is still beneficial to search across several databases for a thorough investigation of a topic. For preparation of evidence-based protocols and guidelines, searching across several databases is essential. So that's why that is what I said in the beginning, that searching on a one database is not going to survive the purpose, because what I mentioned in the beginning, in between the session, that emphasis is going to get differ. Even though the article is available with a similar information or similar content, but the emphasis on a particular aspect may differ, and that's why it is being suggested to make use of more than one databases for searching article or paper from the databases. So that it is being said that each database is likely to provide slightly different results. So there is a possibility of providing the different results owing to a different journals and books it is searching across. So despite the potential for duplication, there could be a possibility of duplication also, because some articles may be available in both the places or both the databases. So it is still beneficial to search across several databases for a thorough investigation of a topic. For preparation of evidence-based protocols and guidelines, searching across several databases is essential. Now, next point is that what is citation? So I hope that this is very simple. Nothing new is there, and most of the people are maybe knowing it. A citation is when one paper is explicitly referred to the another one, another paper. Usually there is some kind of indication in the text of the paper, then the full reference is given in the bibliography. So for example, normally if we when we write a article or manuscript, we used to write in the form of code. So that is what previous work, for example, it has been given. Previous work on analog modulator reveals problem with calibration and precision. And in the bracket, it is being mentioned that it is nothing but a citation from where this has been taken. So the article which is being published by these authors in this year, and from where this particular sentence is being taken in our article. So that is what normally being called as a citation. Yesterday, I hope that Doodle sir has put a focus on it, that if he doesn't cite the contents, if we are taken from other article, it comes under the plagiarism. So that is why it is essential that the citation has to be there. If we are using any information from any article, immediately it is better to put a citation, so we will avoid the plagiarism. Now, what are the classification of existing databases? Now, this is very important, and the last we can see that, because in the beginning we have defined the three outcomes. One is indexing, the second is the databases, and the last one is that what are the databases which we are going to use for submitting our article or papers. So now we are coming to the third outcome. We have seen the first indexing, then we have seen the citation databases. And now coming to the third outcome, how to identify a database or journals to submit my manuscript or article. So that is what we are supposed to see. So in this section, citation indexes are presented in the following order. Presents the science citation index and letter ISI, and Clarivate analytic citation indexes in chronological order. Now, when we have seen, I have shown one slide where we talk about the present, past, and future of the research matrices. So somewhere I'm again going to put a light on this. Here we could see that the present science citation index and later it is being defined as the ISI and Clarivate analytic citation indexes in chronological order. Now, what is this science citation? See, initially when it has been launched, it is being defined as the science citation index. Later on, it is being over a period of time, it is being called as the even it is being known as a Thomson Reuters, because we are using the term impact factor for evaluating these errors. So that impact factor is going to be defined by the Thomson Reuters, and it is nothing but impact factor of Science Citation Index, or ISI. Now it is being defined as a Clarivate Analytics. So this, more or less, this is a new business organization which is being defined, and the whole authority now of Thomson Reuters is being available with the Clarivate Analytics, and it is being citation indexes in chronological order. So what it does, it presents citation database from other database producers, except regional databases in chronological order. So regional citation databases, what it covers, I have mentioned in the beginning, there could be a local database, there could be a regional database, and there could be continental databases. Now here, all those things are coming into the picture. So present citations databases from other database producers, except regional databases in chronological order. So what this does, like Science Citation Index or Clarivate Analytics, it presents the citation databases from other database producers. It is accepting, it doesn't include the regional databases in chronological order. So regional citation database, what it includes, databases in other languages than English. So for that, the regional citation databases are there. And here we are using the continental databases. So continental databases are nothing but which is allowing you the all other databases other than regional databases. Now here we could see that the present comparative studies of some major. So I have taken some example, not all, because as there are just now we have seen 101 databases are there, and more than that also there. So it is not possible to cover all, but which are most popular and which is very important we are using when it comes to the fraternity of engineering and technology and science. So I have covered the comparative studies of some major competing citation indexes like Google Scholar, Scopus, and Web of Science. So what are the classification of existing databases? So here we
Sorry
can
to
see
interrupt
that.
you, sir. Hello.
Yes. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you, sir. As
Yes.
we all know, these are timed session.
Yes. Yes.
So
It is about to complete. It is about to complete.
okay, sir.
Yes. So citation index may also be classified as follows: by subject coverage, universal citation databases, database covering science, database covering social sciences, sciences with database covering the humanities, and other subject specific. So that is what being listed over here. So the classification of indexes are being done on the basis of universal citation database. Here we could see that database covering sciences. So the science citation index, science citation index expanded. Database covering social sciences. So here we could see that the social science citation index. Citation database covering humanities. So here we could see that the humanities there, and others. So that is what. Then what are the classification of existing database? Citation databases covering specific document types also. Here we could see that the books, so book citation index, and conference proceeding, emerging source citation index, and data citation index. So these are some of the examples which we have covered. Web of Science, Scopus is there, Science Direct is there, ORCID is there, Indian Scientist, ResearchGate. And the last point, which we are very important, which we are going to cover, is that how do I verify that my target journal is indexed in ISI, Scopus, or Web of Science? How do I find the index journal? So to check if your manuscript is indexed in ISI, Web of Science, you can log on to the following. Once you log in, you can simply search by the full journal name or the ISSN number. The search result will show if your target journal is indexed in these journals. Or another possibility is that to check if your target journal is indexed in SCI Megul, please. So that it is to be searched on this. So this is again one is going to talk, the second one is going to talk about the Scopus. So the first one is which is going to talk about the Web of Science. The second link is for Scopus. So how to choose a journal for submitting a paper? These are some of the I'm going to read out within a fraction of a second. So while you choose the journal for publication, you should ensure does the subject of your article match the journal subject focus.
Does the journal accept the article type you intend to submit? Is the journal read by your target audience? Is the journal included in bibliographic and subject specific databases? Does the journal have an online edition? Is the journal impact factor in line with your requirements? Is the journal regarded as prestigious one of its field by colleagues and peers? What is the turnaround time for articles submitted to the journal? How many times in a year is the journal published? What are the publication charges? Is the length and structure of your manuscript acceptable to the journal? Now, these are the questions to be answered by a researcher before submitting a paper to the any journals. So it is a guideline, rather we can refer these questions before, if we have prepared any manuscript and if you would like to submit manuscript to any journal. So these are the questions to be asked. So it will help us to go into the proper direction. So these are the references, but slightly I will put a 2-minute lights on this. So I hope that almost it is being covered. Any question answer, if it is there, then we can go. Or if anybody is interested, then just we have certain search how the search is going to be made on the databases. That is another possibility if it is required.
Yes, sir. There is one request from M. A. Girja to please share the 101 free journals link. And Mr. Pankaj Kumar Varke has one question, so I am going to unmute him.
Yeah. Yes.
Varke sir, you can unmute yourself.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello,
Hello.
sir. This is Pankaj Kumar from Government Polytechnic, Mumbai.
Yeah.
Sir, I want to ask that can we find our research topic or through this database?
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Yeah.
So can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Sir, my question is, can we find our research topic
Yeah.
through this database?
See, research topic, finding a research topic through this database is not possible because we have to decide what should be my research topic. You can find the related material to your research topic.
Okay.
Yeah. Finally, see, it is our interest what should be. That is altogether a different subject. If you are interested to, if you would like to mention that how to define a problem for the research and how I will be able to identify through this databases. That is, I hope, maybe
Yes, sir.
your question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Correct.
Yes. So see what is required. If, for example, I am going to tell you, you belong to which stream?
Sir, electronics.
Electronics. So, for example, if I will consider some network is there,
Okay.
maybe a computer network. So, if you'd like to do some research in the computer network, you have to search articles on the basis of recent trends into the databases, and then you have to find out the gap. See, it is very essential. I always suggest most of the researchers, rather than making a hurry to register for the PhD and defining a problem, it is better to make a research means before making a registration, at least work out for a year to download the different articles on a topic of interest, make a study of that, and see that what is the work which is being carried out throughout the domain, and which are the topics or which are the particular aspect which is not being touched by most of the researchers. So that we have to identify the gap. Where is the gap? And if the gap is there on which the research is not being done, and that gap itself is not going to suggest us what should be my topic of research. So that is the right approach to go for it. Otherwise, normally what happens, we normally used to take the topic, we used to get registered, and once we go through it, then we will come to know that a lot is already available when it comes to the research. Now, what should I do? So first, it is important to identify the gap within that domain or within that particular topic. And once you identify the gap, whatever you are going to do, it is a new research. So that is what the normally the philosophy which is to be used.
Okay.
I hope that I have cleared your doubt.
Yes, sir. But sometimes what happened, the guides which are available, they're having some different area specialized, and we
And
want
that
we
is,
want to do in some another area. At that time,
yes, yes, that happens. That happens. That I know. But see, just now we have seen that if I want to publish my article, then I have to see the database where I am going to match.
okay. Correct.
Yes. So that I hope that that is going to solve your query. I have to see the match. See, if my supervisor is suggesting me something else, my interest is something else, and if I don't have match at the beginning, see, it's very simple. If you would like to marry, and if you have to identify a match, if you doesn't identify a proper match, it is not going to happen.
Yes.
That marriage is not going to remain. Yes, so that is
Yes,
what
sir.
very important. Very important. See, to identify a topic which should be of mine interest, because the work I am supposed to do, my supervisor is not going to do the work. So if I am supposed to do work, what I should request the supervisor that you give me a permission, I will do it, but you support me. That could be another possibility.
Okay.
Even I am of that. I am of a similar candidate. I did my like the whole work.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
There
Any
is
other?
one question from chat.
Yeah.
Mr. Milind Rane want to ask, sir, if the journal name is search in mail.clarivate.com and general name is present dot, can we go for publication?
What exactly? Doesn't got the question properly.
Sir, you can also see the question in chat.
Okay, just a minute.
It is from Mr. Milind Rane.
Okay. If the journal name is search in milclalivet.com and journal name is present, can we go for publication? Yes, yes. See, it is a portal of Web of Science. So it is a portal of Web of Science, and if that journal is included into the portal at that website, then definitely it is a part of Web of Science. So we can go for the publication. Only the thing is that see, we have to see the latest update. That is very important, because sometimes what happens, sometimes the journal remains within that, and sometimes again it is being removed because of not maintaining the standard of that journal. That is another possibility. So we have to see latest whether a particular journal, if it is being included into that list, then we can go for it. But if it is not, it may be previously available in that list, but not necessary it will forever. If any journal which is not mentioning this, maintaining the standard of that journal, so they could be removed from that directory or that database. So we have to see whether it is right now available. If it is available, then we can go for it.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. I hope that clears the doubt. Now I will request Ms. Neha Karbande madam to present the vote of thanks.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, all. I am Sneha Karbante here to present vote of thanks for the today's session on database and research metrics, indexing database, citation database, Web of Science, Scopus, etc. By Dr. P.M. Javandia, sir, on behalf of all SCDP members and other faculty members of Computer Science and Engineering Department, Professor Ramig Institute of Technology and Research, Badnera, I present my sincere thanks to the Dr. P.M. Javandia sir, who graced us with his presence and guidance. And I also thank to all the participants for the patient listening. Thank you all. With the permission of head of the department, I declare that this session is over, and I request Professor Ari Kadem madam to proceed further for the next session. Thank you.